Hi, this is Kevin from Icedraw.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how I create 3D hockey jersey concepts. So I use a slight modification of a 3D template from sportstemplates.net, and all I've basically done is I changed the background and I just took out some things and tweaked them to how I like them. So for example, I took out the graphic on the helmet. All my concepts I used the lace-up collar, and I just cleaned up some other areas. I fixed the Warrior logo on the gloves and just basically moved the stripes around a little bit so they're more centered. And that's pretty much it, but it's pretty close to the default template that you get when you buy it from that website. So in this video I'll show you my approach to using Photoshop to create my concepts, and we're gonna put together a LA Kings concept for this tutorial video. So the first thing I do is I go to sportslogos.net and I just put all of the resources I'm going to be using in their own tabs. So this is going to be for the LA Kings. So I'm going to go ahead and open up some of the graphics I'm going to be using. I'm going to use their main logo. I'm going to use their alternate logo. And I'm going to pull up some jersey references that I kind of want to base this concept on. So I think I'm going to do their old Gretzky jerseys. And maybe their alts from a couple years ago. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make them kind of like this, but I'm going to use their alt for the front. I'm going to add some white stripes here, and that's pretty much it. I think we can just take this alternate they have here and just turn it up a notch. So once I have my assets opened, I'm going to go back and start on the concept itself. So I start off with the helmet, and I'm going to make, like I said, I'm going to make it very similar to this right here. So I'm going to have a black helmet, pants, and just the gray. And then instead of having this gray here and this Detroit Red Wings style bottom stripe, I'm going to have the same thing but with a white line going through, so it kind of matches the alt logo. Alright, so anyways, let's get started on the helmet. So I like to keep the helmet really simple. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click the helmet body layer and change it to black. And for black I use 212121 so that you don't lose some of the lighting effects on the helmet. And for white I use F4, F4, F4. Now for the collar, like I said, I like using the 3/4 lace collar for every single one of my jerseys. I just really like the lace colors. So I'm going to go ahead and change the colors of this. So for the interior, actually I'm going to pull up. One more trick with Chrome here is there's an extension called ColorZilla. So to give you an example, I'm going to use this logo for the front. So I want this gray here. So I'm going to take my color picker and I'm going to just click in the color and it's going to copy it to the clipboard, right? Then I go back to Photoshop and open up my swatch, and I'm going to press Control V to paste it in here. And I'm going to hit OK, and now it's going to show up in my swatches tab right here so I can just grab it whenever I need it. So for the interior, I'm going to use that gray. For the color itself, you can use the gray again. For the top of the color, we're going to do black. For the logo area, we're going to use the gray again. And for the laces themselves, just do white. Oops, that's too many. Alright, onto the shoulders. Now, yeah, like you can see here, I usually like working top to bottom. So we'll start with the shoulders here. Um, I'm going to be replacing this 84s because I really hate numbers on shoulders and stuff like that. So I'm going to be replacing that with their current primary. So what I do here is I go to the sportslogos.net page with the logo, right click on the image, go copy image, go back to Photoshop and make a new file. I paste it in with Control V, and then I will also increase the canvas size by about 10 pixels. You'll see why in a second. And then I'll make it all into the same layer. Make sure the background's the same. Oh, actually, I'll explain what I did there. So what I did was I increased the canvas size by about 10 pixels, and then I grabbed the color from the background. As you see how there's this black edge around it, right? And then I go to the background layer itself, and I press Alt Backspace, so it fills in the rest of that space that was just changed by the canvas sizing. Alright, and now that it's all the same, I'm control clicking both layers and pressing Control E to merge them together. I'm going to take my magic wand tool and I'm going to click on the background with contiguous turned on, and then I'm going to invert the selection by pressing Control Shift I. I'm going to go select, modify, contract by 2 pixels. I'm going to invert the selection again, Control Shift I, and delete all the background. One thing I forgot to do was make a new layer, so it's on top. Now let's do that again. So magic wand, select background, Control Shift I, select modify, contract, 2 pixels, Control Shift I again, delete, and now we got all the backgrounds gone. One more thing I should point out is I do have anti-alias turned off because it will have a bit of jagged edges in here, but when you actually go to put it in the jersey and resize it, that'll all smooth out on its own. Alright, so I'm going to copy this layer, so I just click the layer, press Control A and Control C, and I'm going to paste it into here with Control V, and then I'm going to transform this, so I'm going to press Control T, and I'm going to hold down Shift so that it maintains the aspect ratio. And holding down Shift, you can also turn it, and it stays nice and uniform. I'm just going to make this like the same height as this 84, and then center it within the 84. So it's about the same height. Center it in there. And I'm going to copy this layer by dragging copy. I'm going to press Control T, hold down Shift, and just flip it 180 degrees. I'm going to put this in the middle of this 84 now. I'm going to hide these 84s. I'm going to save. Actually, you know what? There's one more thing I have to do. I'm going to set the background for the shoulders to black. Now, since this is a smart layer and it opens up as a separate file, once I save this, Control S, when I go back to this layer here, it's going to be updated in here. So now that I'm done with this, I can close it. So you can see we have our current primaries as the shoulder patches. I don't need this anymore. And we'll start on the sleeves now. So for the sleeves, like I said, I'm going to do kind of the same striping as here, but I'm going to make this white in the middle. I'm going to do the same for the waist. So I open up my sleeves, and I'm going to make a few lines. So I go to my line tool, make the first line like 110 pixels, so it's somewhat thick. And as I'm drawing the line, I'm going to hold down Shift so that it draws nice and straight. I'll draw one more. Actually put these on top. And I gotta put them in new layers. Okay. Make a new layer, draw the line holding Shift, make another new layer, draw the line holding Shift, make one more layer, and I'm going to change this to be half the size so it's a bit thinner in the middle. Hold down Shift and draw it in. And now I'm going to set the thicker lines to black. Just double click the layer and change the color. Now I'm going to stick them all together. So if you have Snap turned on, you go to View Snap, and when you move these layers, I'm going to hide this for a second. So when you move this line next to this line, it'll snap to it. And the same for this one. See how it just stuck there? And then I'm going to merge these. I'm going to press Control, or I'm going to hold down Shift, select these three, and then Control E. Sorry, I'm not going to merge them. I'm going to group them. So they're all highlighted. You can also hold down Control and click them all, and then Control G to group them together. And I'm just going to put them in the center of where those old stripes were. There we go. And I'm going to change the background to the gray. And I'm going to add some border around the numbers. So right click on the numbers, go blending options, stroke, make sure it's set to outside, 10 pixels is good. Color, I want it to be the black, 212121, so that's good. Alright, now I'm going to save this, since again it's a smart layer, so it opens as a separate tab. When I go back, we should see the updated sleeve. Now I'm going to leave this open because we're going to do the exact same for the other sleeve. So when I open the other sleeve, set the background, I'm going to duplicate this group. So right click, duplicate group, and I'm going to duplicate it into the other tab with the other sleeves. And I'm also going to copy the layer style of the lettering. And I'm going to right click on this lettering and I'm going to paste layer style here so it's exactly the same. There, now we have matching sleeves. I'm going to save this. And when we go back, our sleeves should be done. Now I'm going to do the main part of the jersey. So I'm going to go to shirt. It's called shirt in here. It's the shirt layer. I'm going to open this. First I'll just copy in the same way I did with the sleeves. I'm just going to go to my group with my lines. Go right click, go duplicate group, and then select the tab with the front of the shirt. I'm just going to place it nice and center down here, centered with these lines, and make them wider. Hide the old lines, set the background to gray, and I'm going to grab the secondary logo the same way we did the primary. So I'm going to go to this page here, right click and go copy image. I'm going to make a new file or tab. I'm going to increase the canvas size by about 10 pixels. I'm going to grab my eyedropper, grab the background color, Alt backspace to fill in the extra areas. Get rid of this registered mark. And I'm going to take my magic wand. No, first I need to merge these. So I press Control E to merge. And put this on top. Hide this background because it's locked, right? So if you have a layer on top of the background, when you remove the background here, it's going to remove it from, it's going to show transparency. So I'll show you. I'll take my magic wand, click in here now, select modify contract by 2 pixels. Oh, I forgot to invert it. Okay, let's try this again. So once I have the background all the same and it fills up where the canvas sizing took up, I'm going to copy, hide it, magic wand, select the background, Control Shift I to invert the selection, select modify contract by 2 pixels so it gets rid of the little white around the edges. Control Shift I again to invert, delete that background. I'm going to do Control A. I select the layer, Control A to highlight it all, and then Control C to copy it. And I'm going to paste it in here, and we're going to resize it a little bit, just a little bit, and center it. Okay, we'll hide the old logo, and this is pretty blended in here, so I could just go to blending options like I did with the lettering, right click, blending options, and stroke, and just add a stroke of white or whatever. See what white looks like. Or maybe I'll do black. Let's see what black looks like. So let's save this. Go back to my jersey here. And I think that's a pretty decent size. If I compare it to this jersey here, that looks like a pretty good size. Alrighty, so I think I usually do all of the sizes with the same width or height. I can't remember what exactly it was. If I go to Icedraw, I compare the sabers. Let's check out the saber size. That's pretty big. I think this one is a bit smaller than that. Oh, maybe not. That's around the same size. Alright, so we're good with that. So that's the shirt done. So now you can see there's kind of even spacing between the top and bottom as well, which is always good. So now I'm going to do the shorts, and I'm just going to have one line, maybe, going down. So I'm going to hold Shift again, make a new layer, hold down Shift, draw in a line. That's 55 pixels. We'll see how that looks. So center it with the old lines and make sure it's F4, F4, F4. See how thick that is. That's a bit too thick. So let's try, say, half of that. Let's try 27. Go down here, nice and centered where the old lines were. Save it, back to our pants. And that's matching the lines in the stripes, so I'm pretty happy with that. I don't usually go too nuts on the pants unless it's like the lightning or something, then I'll put some lightning bolts in there. But I usually just try and keep the striping simple on the pants. And then for the gloves, again, I try and keep this simple, so for the top part, I usually make it like the same color as the pants. For the wrists, I'll make it match the jersey. Same with the palms. And then for the logo, I have new layers here. So what I do is I got my warrior logo here, so I want to change that to white. So I go blending options, color overlay, and set that 404. Save that. Same for the other side. Right click, blending options, color overlay. We're good. I'm going to close out some of these tabs. Don't need this anymore. So usually when I'm doing this too, I'll notice some things that I might want to tweak along the way. So I'm already noticing here that the laces are kind of blended in with the jersey. So what I'll do is I'll just go back real quick and Maybe make those laces black. And then same with the gloves here. So this is really close to the white. It's really close to the gray. So I go back to the gloves and just change these back to black. No, we don't want satin. And that should look better. Yeah, it does. It looks way better. Alright, so the last thing we have to do are the socks. And again, I'm going to open up the sleeves again. Keep that tab open this time. Usually I keep the sleeve tab open so I can just grab and duplicate the striping. So going to the sock layer, and these are mirrored, so you only have to open one. And then right click, duplicate into the sock layer. I'm going to center it with these old stripes here and make it a bit wider. Change this to the gray. Save it, and you should see the new socks here. And we do. So that took all of, what do we got on OBS? 20 minutes? 20 minutes to throw this simple Kings alternate jersey concept together. It's pretty close to their old alts. I just basically changed the logo, made the striping look nicer and whatnot, but just to give you an idea of how easy it is once you get used to things using this template in Photoshop. So that wraps up this tutorial video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and you can check out my website and submit your own concepts at icedraw.com. Thanks for watching.